Dr. Martens shoe is possibly the ugliest essential fashion item of modern times. It's certainly the best travelled. From Taiwan to Tel Aviv, the throbbing slab of rubber, that is the DM sole, is sure to figure in the wardrobe of bankers and clubbers alike. So how does a shoe which started life as a protective shield for sore feet come to be so very, very hip?
The DM in its way has become as English as the Mini was in the 60s.
DMs.
Doc Martens!
With the shoes, you're also making a statement.
It's a British icon.
They transcend fashion. Airwear.
I think they're rather ugly, actually.
Dockies for men.
But I don't think they're very feminine.
Dockies for women.
I kind of like to look hard.
A fashion accessory rather than a registered lethal weapon.
That classic.
This quintessentially British working man's boot was in fact invented by the German doctor Herbert Funk. He modelled his sole on the pneumatic inner tyre of a Lufthansa aeroplane and experimented his bouncing sole theory on his broken-footed friend Dr. Martens. The formula was licensed by Griggs of Northampton, and it was Griggs who, via a variety of violent youth cults, turned the Dr. Martens boot into a cultural icon. The DM's thug factor was the key to its early glamour.
The breakthrough was when Griggs perceived that they were not merely comfortable shoes for people who'd injured their foot, but they could be adapted to become a working shoe or working boot at that time. And that's why the skins picked them up, because they were a working man's boot. But it was like an exaggeration of working classdom. It was almost like a pastiche of D.H. Lawrence land, if you like.
I want all you skinheads to get up on your feet. Put your braces together and your boots on your feet. And give me some of that old moon stomping. Get ready. We got 3 million miles to reach on the moon. So let's start getting happy now. Ready? Yeah.
No, I mean, skinhead came out of reggae in like the mid-60s, and it came up, then there was Smooths, Suede Heads, Boot Boys.
It was the cult group, the Skinheads, which brought it to national attention.
Certainly the DM got big by bother.
It did put us on the map. People had actually heard of Dr. Martens.
Skinheads who are running down the King's Road, beating people up, to me is a Doc Martens boot.
They're good for dancing, playing football and kicking other things aside from that, but we won't go into that one. Someone said something, you didn't like it, well, what do? You turn around and thump them.
It was like, at that time, a very extreme thing for a youth to be doing, that with the cropped hair. Dowdy, straight conservatism.
Doc Martens equated with hard.
So you could actually look tough in these boots and actually be comfortable at the same time.
Out of the skinhead reggae thing, the next thing which happened musically in the UK was glam rock, and a mixture of people like the David Bowies of this world and Mark Bolans. I remember going to see a football match in Coventry, and the Chelsea fans came walking down the street, being very loud and actually singing Leader of the Game. And the most outstanding feature about them was there was a mixture of glam skinheads. They wore silver-painted Dr. Martens boots. They had actually spray-painted their boots. This image to me of Bowie, glitter, meets street tough was a unique thing which very much excited me, and was the thing I pulled on much later on when King was beginning to formalise, and musically we were looking for our own hybrid, which was meant to be us drawing from our influences of the 70s.
Hello, here we are in Al's Holt's shoe shop, as it's more commonly known, in Camden Town, the purveyors of the finest Dr. Martens for 3/4 of a century, and I'm here with Al, the proprietor.
It sounds like 500 years. The punk scene came along, and they wanted the boots, and they wanted the chains on the boots, and then of course we had the biking boys, what were they called, scooter mob, what were they called?
The mods were the precursors of the skinheads in many respects, and you have two streams in pop culture, mods and rockers basically, and DMs started off on the mod side, and by punk rock they'd crossed over into the rocker camp.
His mother bought him a synthesizer, got the human league into advisor. Now he's making lots of noise, playing along with the art school boys. Girls try to attract his attention, but what a shame, it's in vain, total rejection. He will never be left on the shelf, cause Kevin, he's in love with himself. Oh my perfect cousin, what I like to do he doesn't. He's his family's pride and joy, his mother's little broken boy.
Doc Marten was like the archetypal image of punk rock, you know, that and the Mohican haircut and the safety pin, I guess. You know, they're all icons from that era.
I think the punks had many of the same motives as the skinheads. They were very self-consciously anti-hippie. They wanted something that was tough and working class and street cred, and the DM was to hand.
The punk thing, which then moved into, you know, your Undertones, Clash, People Wearing the Boots, and then of course the ska revival of the late 70s into the early 80s.
People getting hungry.
The Specials, Madness, Selector, The Beat, UB40.
As you were saying, the Damned were here, and the Specials
They were
came
coming
here
up.
as well.
Yeah, the Specials. Yeah, they were very good, weren't they? And the Clash.
The Clash, of
And the
course.
Jam. Yeah.